Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Rona Dayz, episode 41 of the show that started when it all went downhill in 2020. And this being the end of 2020, I'm going to do a little recap of 2020, the year that was, the year that everybody, I'm sure, would like to forget. But it's a year that surprisingly didn't treat me too badly. I mean, aside from massive anxiety and depression that hit during the summertime, other than that, I could not have predicted where I would be like when 2020 started. I had the idea that this thing was going to happen, that thing was going to happen. I'm going to finally get this done. I'm going to finally get that done. I had actually early on in the year just gotten a bunch of work done on my van that I was going to have to bust my ass driving Uber and Lyft to pay off. But then the pandemic happened and that all went to hell. But somehow I was able to get unemployment, got the stimulus check. And I'm living in a reality that I didn't think I'd be able to live in, with the entire production of the show kind of having an evolution. How I produce the many faces has changed. There's just been a lot of positive changes that have happened. And as far as, the pandemic and having to socially distance and stay away from people, that was my life anyway. I wasn't hanging out with people. I mean, I miss going to movies, not going to the movie theater at all this year. I mean, aside from the first few months of the year, that's definitely been missed. Just being able to kind of have those days to just get out of the house, I miss. But as far as like, I wasn't a very social person anyway. I've been focused on doing the producing this show, producing my artwork, and doing other things. And so I'm thankful that, despite the pandemic, I was able to stick to all my release schedules and release 365 episodes of The Ray Taylor Show, release 365 new paintings, probably 360 making of videos. There's probably about 5 of times where it didn't record or I forgot to hit record while doing my painting. I started this show, Rona Dayz, when the pandemic started. Just recently started Top 5, which is a new show. So adding new shows to the roster of the Ray Taylor Show. During I got sick. Usually when the seasons change, I end up getting allergies, and sometimes those allergies can cause me to get bronchitis, which I for sure got. It wasn't no flu symptoms. It was never like it was weird because like once the pandemic started, any kind of thing that was abnormal, any kind of cough I would have just automatically was like, oh shit, I got the coronavirus. But then when this happened, it's like it's such a common thing throughout my life that even though I got sick, it was like an illness that I was very accustomed to and very used to, and it hit me harder than it has in a long time. Usually when it gets the worst, usually it's like it'll be a lot of congestion, and then it'll get into my lungs, and then once it gets into my lungs, I end up getting bronchitis. And when it gets really bad, I end up getting ear infection. So I didn't get the ear infection this year. I was able to somehow avoid that. The bronchitis eventually went away, and everything kind of went away. And like it was literally a month or two dealing with like nagging, like kind of residue of having that illness. But aside from that, it was great. I got some Photoshops done up until like I think around the time when just my emotionally with my anxiety and depression, eventually. I think I stopped doing photoshops, but I had done some photoshops for Ari early in the year, but then once everything went down, no shows, no comedy shows, so no need for comedy show posters. But then I did some photoshops for some podcasts that I enjoyed listening to, watching, like the Spoil the Beans, which is a new podcast that I got into this year. Uh, this is important to me. Another movie podcast by Taylor Tomlinson and Sam Morrill. I love doing episode posters for that, but that was a short-lived show. Um, so it's just kind of doing that early on. I was able to. It kind of felt good to do, because Photoshop's always been more of like a hobby for me, even though I make money doing it. If as far as commission work, Photoshop tends to be the thing that I get paid money to do. Um, so it was, I don't know, I enjoyed I really enjoyed being able to work on those photoshops for those podcasts. Also, when everything turned to shit and I didn't know if I was going to get an unemployment, I didn't know if I was going to get uh a stimulus check. Just it really kind of felt like everything was going into a tailspin. Having to stay home all the time, I was able to finally get all my merch out. So now I have merch that I sell, which is something that I didn't think I would have. Definitely wouldn't have had time to do. Uh, you know, just a bunch of things personally, I guess professionally, creatively, that I was able to do, which I'm very thankful for. And of course, a broken tooth. Like right when I started feeling better, right when I was getting over the bronchitis thing, I'm eating pork chops, and one of the pork chops, there's this stray bone that ended up going back into a molar and just breaking it in half. And it was a molar that, like, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, I had fixed. So luckily it broke in a place where it hasn't really caused me any issue. So even though it's like a negative thing, which is like when negative things happen this year after 2020, it's almost laughable. Like it just, like, I'm expecting things to fall apart. Um, and it's just one of those things where there's nothing left to do but laugh. So thankfully that hasn't gotten to be a bad thing. Um, I'm living in an existence with a bidet in my life. So now my butthole has never been cleaner. Like, it's literally something that I wish I had done so long ago, get a bidet. And it's probably one of, out of the new things that are in my life, like I've got new equipment here and there because other stuff is broken, which is kind of like a crazy thing. Like, I had a camera that I used to film everything broke this year. I don't know. I had just so many. My phone broke this year. Like, I had so much equipment break, but then it opened up the possibility for me to, kind of restructure how I do things, but then also, when given the opportunity, upgrade. But the biggest upgrade has definitely been getting a bidet, even though it's like the cheapest bidet. It's like, if it's on full power, it hurts. It hurts. It's just too much for my butthole, right? There's this fine line of just turning it on to clean just perfectly. But even though it's the cheapest bidet you can order on Amazon, it's having cleaning my butt with water as opposed to paper is a game changer. A game changer. All these people out here without bidets walking around with dirty assholes. You think your asshole is clean. It's not clean. It's dirty. It is a dirty asshole, and you got to clean that with water. Get yourself a bidet. It's just kind of a crazy year. Crazy year. Obviously I'm excited. Black Lives Matter was a crazy movement. It's getting to see protests all over the place. Seeing some change happen, not real change. Getting Trump elected out of the presidency is amazing. Just kind of, it's like some of the lowest lows have happened this year, but then also, like, this upswing has never felt so good. right? It's like you can't the sweet tastes sweeter after having lived through such a horrible year that was 2020. Um but yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing. I'm excited to see what happens next year. Like making plans and goals and all of that is like out the window, aside from just doing this show, doing my artwork and trying to do those things better, surviving. It's so much of that other stuff is just like I don't even like think about it as much. It's not it's like it's helped this year has helped me redefine the things that I care about and that I'm passionate about and that I want to put my energy into as long as I'm able to live. And it's kind of a weird way to open your eyes and see clearly when it comes to a year like 2020. It's kind of an odd thing to get a better focus on stuff. But that is all that I have to say. I hope everybody has a great new year. Stay safe, wear your mask, and on to 2021. Make sure you support our sponsor, Station House Coffee, on Instagram and stationhousecoffee.com. Order yourself some amazing coffee, single origin, premium, small batch coffee, brewed in Thetford Center, Vermont, and shipped directly to you. Go to stationhousecoffee.com and order your coffee today, and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!